Religious people talk a lot about faith and usually don't have much idea what it's all about. If you ask a Christian to tell you what faith is, they might quote to you one of the passages of Scripture we read for today. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for. Faith is about hope. It's hope in the promise of God. So we need to get in touch with what it is that God actually promises us. What is it that you believe that God promises you? It's rather different from wishfulness. Like, we can wish for all sorts of things, and we do. We're a pretty selfish sort of people. But it's not talking about that we wish that we had a bigger car, that we wish that we had a bigger house, that we had more money, that our life was somewhat different. Rather, the hope is something more deep-seated about our relationship with God and with life and with ourselves. What is it that we believe that God promises to us as a result of being his people? The example that's used today is the example of Abraham, who set out at really a great age on a journey to the promised land because he believed he'd heard the promise to him that he and his wife Sarah would be the father and mother of a great generation. And even though they were both old, they believed the promise of God, and they found that as they moved through the journey of faith, that was quite difficult, that there were times when their faith was tried, but they came to understand that the promise of God was true. What is it that you believe that God has promised you about your life? This week, can you pray and ask God to show you what it is that he promises you? What is it that God says to you your life is to be about and for? And then can you pray for the faith, the courage, the hope, the trust to put that promise into practice? Faith, you see, is the assurance of things hoped for, the things that we believe are true, even though we don't necessarily have the evidence, but which we are convinced that God promises us.